This is a budget, it's a promise, it's expectations, it's the dream of the government. And I believe that this administration is committed to ensuring that if we all work together, put ideas together, recommit to a better Nigeria, we build a kind of socio-political, economic, cultural environment that will encourage Nigerians in their respective constituencies and communities to reach the highest points of their creative and productive abilities. When we're able to do this, Nigeria will be a better place, not just for us, but for generations to come. It will also encourage those that will come into power well into the future to build on the achievements of the present government, legislators, businessmen, and women, and prioritize the welfare and security of our women and children, the bedrock of the Nigerian nation state. So I invite you, my dear colleagues, to support this budget as presented and to keep hope alive and recommit that we have an opportunity to join the government, we're part of the government, to join the executive in this budget of consolidation, renewed resilience, and shared prosperity.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's launch straight into the second part of our discourse today. Daisi Omokungbe is the founder and executive director of ProMAD. ProMAD is a non-profit organization working towards participatory governance in Nigeria. Participatory governance means citizens being part of the governance process. Now, I always tell people that if you're talking about participation in governance, it's about your interests, economic and financial interests, all embodied in annual budgets. How are citizens' interests encapsulated into our budget?
Okay, thank you, Amaechi. So also the management of AIT for the opportunity to be here this morning. So Nigeria operates democracy. And democracy has to do with participation, from elections to policy-making process, to sitting with your lawmakers, your representatives, and the officials that are appointed into various offices. Because the idea, when they came about democracy, and we have this popular definition of democracy that's a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So the whole concept of democracy is centered around participation. And for us to get some things right when it comes to governance and government, not leaving the citizens behind, which is even aligning with the goal 2030 of the United Nations, which Nigeria is part and parcel, is that participation must be at the center. And when it comes to issue of budget, since 1999 that I've been following our budget process.
Of the Fourth Republic.
Yes. It has been, for me, what I would describe as budget of the elite, by the elite, and for the elite.
And it's contrary to the widely held definition of democracy as government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Exactly. So this practice is engaged that definition of democracy. And if Nigeria is truly a democratic nation, we should trace our steps back to ensuring that our budget process is participatory enough to ensure that, one, we engage the citizens to gather their voices, which is their needs, and then ensure that the data that are collected in these processes are well analyzed to discover trends, to understand particular location and the kinds of needs that is of priority to those people. You don't just sit in the office
in Abuja,
alone,
for instance,
without setting, you could even sit in the office, but where are the technology platforms that you have set in place to capture these needs and record the data so that you can work with people in government and even other stakeholders to analyze these needs and be able to say these are the core needs of the people. And then when we are now saying this is the budget for the year, we are ensuring that that budget truly reflects the aspirations, the needs, and the voices of the people.
That's the ideal. And I've studied countries in the way and manner they evolve the economic development programs, blueprints, long-term, mid-term, and immediate term, annual term, which is the budget. Rwanda, for instance, uses exactly what you have illustrated. Bottom-up approach, they call it. Bottom-up, right from the words, aggregate the interests and needs of the people, upscale it, then evolve a plan, a budget on an annual basis to addressing it. But in Nigeria, I talked about one big man sitting in one cozy office somewhere in Abuja, in one state capital, and imagines what will be the needs of citizens as far as the budget preparation is concerned.
Yeah, so this is not something that we are just manufacturing from this studio. We have seen all kinds of budgets since the 1999 to date. And even the recent one, we already know that some of these things they are saying in the budget are not what the people needs. And from my experience, or the experience of my organization, we started following with project government, public projects, since 2019. This is 2026. And most of the things that we have found, most times when we visit community, is that, oh, this project is good, it's lovely, but this is not what we want. This is from our experience. And then when this kept reoccurring around communities following with the government project, we decided that is there a way we can make citizens' voice heard? And that was what led us to developing a solution, a technology solution, because we know that, for instance, to really be able to engage Nigerians. Nigeria is very big, 36 states, for God's sake, 774 local government. Of course, government will bring up the excuse that we cannot go to 774 local government to say we are engaging the citizens. But what if we have a technology platform that can actually capture data from all around the country? And that is what we have done at Romand, to develop a solution called the Sunawa AI. It's powered by
Now,
AI.
if you take a look at citizens' need against what you said, what the government delivers, if you look at the idea behind constituency project, where trillions of naira are pumped in annually into the budget, the idea is that the legislators who are the direct representations and representatives of the people would get back to their constituencies, speak with them, and come up with an idea of what they really want. But constituency projects has been on. It's been identified by the ICPC as a conduit pipe. And so most of these projects are abandoned and all that. So an attempt by the legislature to adopt that bottom-up approach has not also been successful, apparently.
The truth is that it's not only ICPC that's uncovered what is going on with constituency project. I am not advocating that we should cancel constituency project, but we can make it more functional by ensuring that it should be done the way it should be done. For instance, Nigerians sign up to OGP, Open Government Partnership.
Yes.
And one of the things one of the principles under OGP is that budget should go through needs assessment before you come up with, to say these are the priorities that the government will be focusing on to ensure that the needs of the citizens are met.
What's the process of carrying out need assessment for the purposes of budget?
Now, for the purposes of budget, is, for instance, for the legislators, before you select the project that will go into the constituency project as your own allocation for that year, you are expected to hold town hall meetings where you engage your constituents to say, we have this certain amount of money that government is allocating for our constituency this year. And then what are the issues? Then from that engagement, you will be able to say, okay, the issue of road is what is topping the priority, followed by issue of primary healthcare service, followed by maybe education. So from this, you already have a data that says this is the situation. From this data and your analysis, you already know the right of the kind of decision that you need to take. But unfortunately, sir, since 1999, what we keep seeing every year by our legislators is just solar lights, solar street lights.
Distribution of sewing machines?
These are...
Distribution of tricycles?
Why should it be? These are the things that we focus only for 25 years. When we have other critical issues,
within 25 years, poverty kept increasing.
Increasing. So for us to move forward, to be able to reduce poverty level in this country, there is the need for our legislators to focus on engaging their citizens, get quality data.
I don't know why this will not happen, because they have constituency offices. Okay, they just came back from more than 1 month recess, and during that period, they're supposed to engage with their constituents. Now, that structure has been put in place. There's funding for the operation and maintenance of constituency office, and you have described exactly how this should operate. Engage the citizens, aggregate opinion on the basis of needs assessment and aggregation. Yeah. But they don't do it. Is it driven by corruption? Because what we have noticed is that these National Assembly members identify projects, suggest contractors that will execute them, most times proxy contractors, and most of these projects are not executed.
Amaechi, are you not surprised that you see Federal Ministry of Works implementing projects for doing projects to cater for creative industry? For instance, or for emphasis, there is no way you allocate projects that are supposed to go to ministries or agencies that have the core mandate to do that, but you decide not to do that. You focus on people, agencies that do not have the core mandate or the technical expertise to supervise that project. You already designed the project to fail, and when it fails, we know who benefits.
I'm trying to get back to this report filed by our correspondent, talking about budgetary provisions for the Ministry of Labor and Employment as contained in the 2026 budget estimates. There are some inconsistencies that have been noted where the Ministry of Labor and Employment has provisions that are not in any way related to their function, including those of their parastatals. For instance, under National Productivity Center, a parastatal under the Ministry of Budget and Employment, 110 billion naira was earmarked for, indeed, or 30 billion naira, no, 110 billion naira was allocated to this directorate. The issues, the projects under which that to execute are quite funny, you know. For a Directorate of Labor Employment, whose mandate centers on efficiency, workplace productivity, and labor performance. Projects associated with agriculture, infrastructure, health, and sports are included. Agricultural inputs in the Northwest, 700 million for fertilizer supply in Kanu, and 980 million for food distribution in the Northwest for a national center for productivity. And it's not peculiar to this ministry. If you take a look around this budget for the MDAs, these are what you get.
Now, the problem we have is that we have a National Assembly that is not doing their job the way it should be done. Now, if we take it as error that is coming from the executive, the National Assembly is there to do checks and balances.
As gatekeeper.
As gatekeeper. So we know that it's important that we need to supply fertilizers, farm inputs to farmers in Northwest. But why should labor and productivity be the one implementing the
No
project.
Minister of Agriculture or even Minister of Livestock.
And you even see, sometimes you see the Minister of Agriculture that's supposed to be handling that will now be saying they will be implementing projects to build mosque. I don't understand. These are inconsistencies or poor practices that take our budget back. And it affects development to a very large extent because those projects will hardly survive.
The way they are conceptualized,
yeah.
you put your money down that is designed to be a conduit pipe to siphon public funds.
So we need to retrace our step to these issues. And I think the first point is to get our lawmakers to do their job the way it should be done. Now, on the issue of constituency project, what we are going to be doing henceforth is when we get all these needs and analyze them, then we begin to do engagement with them to see, okay, this is your constituency, these are the issues that we have seen very favorable. We provide all the data.
That's a work they're supposed to do.
Yeah, yes,
you
they are
do
work,
it
but
for
we will
them
do it
and challenge them
present
with
the
the
data
outcome.
then just mainstream this into what we are nominating. And I think maybe that will provide a way forward. Because their excuses most times is that there is no funds to do this, there's no funds to do that, there's no funds to do that. Even though you are going to insert projects into the national budget or the state budget, let it be something meaningful, something that we cater for the welfare and for the need of the people, which will make them more productive. Because at the end of the day, we want to see Nigeria grow. Absolutely. In terms of economy, in terms of human index, in terms of human capital.
Poverty, create jobs.
Those are the things that we want to see.
We are seeing this twin evil multiply in many folds. Now, I have this belief, I could be wrong, that Nigerians don't show as much interest as they should on their budgets. They see it as a government document.
Okay. Now, the other part is, you are right, because I think many Nigerians feel that, okay, we don't have the power, or we don't have the system that help us to do this. And that is why we are taking it forward as, let's have this, a platform that will not even demand that you have to travel 20, 50 kilometers before your needs are met. Just go to the platform, sign up, then you begin to talk about the needs of your community, upload them there. Once we have all this data, we can work on them and engage your lawmakers. And then at the points that we need them to also join the engagement process, all of this will be made available to them. But if we must move forward, Nigerians must begin to show interest, because whatever that do not go into the budget can never be implemented.
Yes, we need Nigerians to be conscious of the fact that the budget is directly linked to your economic welfare and well-being.
It is. It is. And every Nigerian must understand this, from local government to state and to the federal. And one other thing is that almost all attention is going to the federal.
Yeah.
Let's begin to go to the subnationals.
There are two other budgets.
Yes.
The state budgets and the local government budget.
And in fact, it shock you that most local governments do not have budget. We must begin to show interest.
They just get money and spend the way they want?
And spend.
But they have a legislative arm, so to say. The councillors are supposed to be the parliament of the local government that should approve their budgets.
Amaechi, these are the issues Nigerians must deal with. You don't elect people and then go to sleep. Once you elect people, the other part is the governance that will really solve the problem. Election is just a few months. Election is behind, then we focus on governance.
For the entire period.
So, and if we don't do the governance well, it means we are not going to gain anything at the end of the day. 4 years, we just come and go. And the problem continues.
There's this undue attention on politics, the election. If there's going to be an off-cycle governorship election in one state, police will deploy 40,000 policemen, civil society organization as observer groups, over 300 will apply, media will carry out live coverage. We devote so much attention to election. And like you said, governance, whoever is elected may not matter, but what the person does in office is a critical thing. So we show much attention to politics and election and less to governance. Yes. And so those elected become demigods.
They become demigods and we begin to worship instead of contributing, questioning what they do to shape the kind of outcome that we want to see. So if we fail to shape the process, we can never have the outcome that we expect to have. That is why you see, instead of we taking actions, most of us complain. And when we complain, that cannot change the process. And once the process is not altered, the outcome will always be the way it is. So my advice to Nigerians is that after elections, we must shine our eyes and begin to be part of every point or process that is in the governance system, so that we can begin to shape policies, shape budget, shape the kind of lawmaking legislations that will come on board, so that we can have the kind of outcome we want to have.
Yes, I like that expression, shine your eyes. It's in pidgin,
Yeah.
you know, and it resonates more with Nigerians.
Yeah.
So the message is, Nigerians, shine your eyes, especially with your budget. And if you do so, you track the project and you become a recipient of the benefits at the end of the day. We have to thank you so much, Daisi Omokungbe, founder and executive director of ProMat. We hope you continue to look for solutions that will help to make sure that the so-called democracy dividends really gets to Nigerians. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you, Amaechi. I'll continue to do my part, the little that I can do.
And when you do your part, every other person
the
do
development
their
of
own
Nigeria,
part.
we become a very whole system that serves our purpose.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Amaechi Anakwue. Have a nice weekend.